Guys, welcome back to a brand new edition of Full Time Reds. Firstly, I want to say thank you to everyone that's helped us get to 1,400 subscribers, which has been a big thing for us. We only started the channel back in December, so thank you for everyone for the support. On this week's show, I'm going to cover a couple of things. I'm going to cover the Liverpool result and why and what it means, Ten Hag's tactics, what it means next, and what happens in the next 10 games. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's interview yesterday, which was very interesting, a great insight because it wasn't a football interview. It was done on a cycling channel, so he was a bit more relaxed, and I felt he let his guard down a bit, which gave you a great insight. So I'm going to start with the. And before I start, guys, please subscribe and please help us grow. Wherever you're listening and watching, it's very important we help this community grow. So please do that, right? So I'm going to start with the Liverpool result. And I intentionally didn't do a video after the game on Sunday and yesterday. I just wanted to see what everybody else was saying, and there was a lot of people, even including myself, that were just so happy with the result and how it went, and in the manner that we beat them in the last minute Fergie time, which was fantastic to see, and the way the team played. I felt what was really good about that game and where you have to give credit to the players is at no point did their heads drop. I know we went 2-1 down and the second half started kind of where Liverpool were just cruising really. They thought they'd won the game. But what was the interesting part was they didn't really create a lot and they were just kind of cruising. And where Ten Hag played it really clever, in my opinion, was he noticed that and the subs he made, which were very proactive. I know a lot of fans will criticize Ten Hag and especially the media, but in that game, I think he really discovered what Manchester United was and what Manchester United playing style should be, which is really front foot, heavy metal, end to end. You rather lose 3-1 and just go for it. And I think he did try that against Fulham, which he got caught out a bit. But to go toe to toe like that with a very, very good team, it's. I'm sure most fans don't want to hear this, but Liverpool are a very, very good team. The way they play, the guy's been there 9 years. He's made them into a solid team. But I felt that game is a very important result for the team in the way we set up, the way we played. We didn't lose hope. Normally, when we lose a game, heads go down. People start sulking, people don't run. But here, we just kept going and going and going. So that was a very, very important. And I was really happy for the younger players. Players that I've got a lot of criticism over the years, like Wan Bissaka, who just come back from an injury and went straight up against Mo Salah. You had Dallo, who's been there such a long time. People forget he went on loan as well. He wasn't fancied. He's come back into the team. Maguire played well. Rashford played well. Garnacho, Hoyland went straight back in. So it was a really, really solid performance. And somebody that doesn't get enough credit and gets a lot of criticism is Scott McTominay. This guy produces every single time he plays. Yes, fans have a certain expectation of him, but he is not what fans expect. He is basically an impact player that comes on, scores your goal, and gives you effort. And in this summer transfer market, if Conor Gallagher is going for 50 million, to me, Scott McTominay then is a 60, 70 million pound player because this guy is miles better than Conor Gallagher. If you look at Conor Gallagher in that final against Chelsea, if that was Scott McTominay, they would have won the game. The amount of chances Conor Gallagher had. So I think he should be given a lot of credit, Scott McTominay. Puts his head down, gets on with it, great attitude. Same for Maguire. Kobe Minu, I don't need to say anything about him. There's been so much coverage on him. He's been fantastic. I think moving on to the next part, which is what this means going forward. What we need to do as a team now is we need to kick on. What we cannot do is go to Brentford and get turned over, and then we're on the back foot again. I think we're 6 points off Spurs. With this, in the next 10 games, in my opinion, we need to take at least 27 points in the next 10 games. Otherwise, it's going to be virtually impossible to get top 4 or 5 or whatever it is. I think from a playing aspect, I think Ten Hag should keep it front foot. I think also the players that are in form should be playing. I think the team looked better without Casemiro, whether that was legs, whether that he wasn't playing his usual, power league up and down. And I think we had a bit more composure. And I think that the team should, with that mindset, should be front footed. Um, Otherwise, like I said, if we go back to um, how we were, it's just going to end up as a disaster like the Ralph Ragnick season. Also, I think the most important thing is for the team is to play with positivity in the next 10 games. Take each game as it comes. You've beat your biggest rival in world football in a very exciting game, going toe to toe with them. So that should give you a lot of confidence, in my opinion. I'm going to come on to um, the Sir Jim Ratcliffe interview, which came out yesterday, which I found very, very interesting on a couple of reasons. Firstly, his talk about the stadium, where he's mentioning how he thinks a new stadium could be very beneficial for the whole country. And like I mentioned in the last podcast, what they are saying is, and where there's confusion, they are not asking the government to fund the new stadium. What they are asking the government to do is, if we go bigger, so if we, rather than just build a stadium, build a whole fan park, they want the government to put the transport links in. So, like a train station, wider roads, trams, linking the whole city to the stadium, which would even linking it to City Stadium, which would be beneficial for everyone in Manchester. So he has said, look, um, to redo Old Trafford can be done at a billion. It will look, he goes, it will look really good, but we can do something bigger. What United have that no other team has is a lot of space. I think they own 60 acres around the ground. If you ever go to Manchester United or any other ground, you'll notice how much car parking space we have compared to anyone in the country. So he's saying, but we can actually build a new stadium quite easily because we've got the space, unlike other clubs like Chelsea who are struggling with space. And we can build something at 90,000 and 100,000, which would be unique and which would be world class. And I think if you watch that interview, what he has done is he's let his guard down a bit. Is because it's a relaxed environment. They're usually talking about cycling, and he's gone off onto Manchester United. And I think he's leaning towards a new stadium now. How this works from a business point of view is quite interesting because he only owns 28, 29% of the company, of the club, and who's going to pay for the stadium and who's going to finance the stadium and who has the final say on the stadium, which is a bit of a grey area, which I'm not sure on. Um, because Glazers still own majority shareholders and they'll have the majority say on this. So he can suggest it, but I'm not sure how much influence he can have on that. And also who burdens the debt on that. He's very well connected, Jim Radcliffe. They could quite easily raise a billion in sponsorships, and he could put up a billion, or they could put a billion on debt on. But fans are scared of debt because of what's happened over the last 20 years. But if it's debt that's being spent on the club and you can see where it's being spent, I think fans might be a bit open to that. But I think it needs to be 100,000 minimum seater. Otherwise, I don't think there's any point doing 90,000. We're at 75 already. It used to be 78, I think, or 76. So it needs to be 100,000, in my opinion. And lastly, if you listen to his comments on the transfer and his thinking around transfers, and he was asked about Mbappe, what you'll find interesting is that he wants to purchase players that are younger and hungrier rather than doing what we've done over the last 10 years and going for players that are ready made and just coming towards their final contracts and we pay him big, big money. He said that we want to find the next Mbappe rather than buy Mbappe, because buying Mbappe wouldn't be a good move. And I think that's correct. I think what we should do is stick and find really, really good players that fit a system and can help us and can help us go forward. And I think in the next 2-3 weeks, you'll start seeing some more movement regarding more hires. I think Wilcox will come in before Dan Ashworth. I think Dan Ashworth is towards the end from what I've seen online and what I've read on other really good podcasts. That is towards the end, and he should be coming in. And I think what the last bit, what they need to do is they need to make a decision on the manager, because he's going into his last season. He's going to want clarity because he might think, I'm not, you know, are they keeping me? Are they not? I might go and take another job. And I think with the summer and the amount of managers available, they need to make a decision whether they're keeping Ten Hag. If they're keeping him, they need to give him a bigger extend his contract, because he's only here till the end of the year next year. And you don't want to be going into next season with him with 1 year to go. You spend 200 million in the transfer window, you lose a couple of games, and all this uncertainty, all the media pressure comes on. So you want to set off before the summer who your manager is and what direction you're going on. But I think it's interesting times. It was a great result. I want to thank you everybody again for helping us grow, supporting us. It means a lot. I'm going to try doing these videos a lot more regularly. I'm a bit scared usually doing them on my own because I'm not used to it. So I'm a bit, can I do it, can I not? But, if you've liked it, please comment, please like the video, please share it. And thank you very much. And I'll be back very soon again.